Hey everyone, just wanted to check in once again now that we are on to Unit 5 in our intercession class. It is getting away from us, we're almost done here. Remember that this Sunday, January 10th at noon is the due date for the final project, and that's when our class comes to an end. Um, as is always the case, the intercession just flies by. Again, please check in with me if you have any concerns or if you're trying to figure out how to best complete the course as strongly as possible. Um, I know that with COVID continuing, there are still lots of concerns, even as we're starting a new year, that go well beyond this class. And so, if you need any help with anything, I'm more than happy to help out as best as I can. I did want to mention in this video that or remind you more that the bibliography or the list of sources is due for the final project tomorrow evening. So that's Wednesday, January, make sure I get the date right, January 6th by 11:59 p.m. For that part of the assignment, you really just have to list the sources that you've found. In some places, I've called it the long list because it's fine, and you probably should list more than the sources that you're going to include in the actual project itself. So for example, if you found um, a couple of additional secondary sources that you may not really want to write annotations for, that didn't really help you address your research question, you can still include them in the bibliography just to kind of show the work that you did in trying to figure out which sources you're going to use. As you do that, make sure that you have included a primary source. You've included two academic secondary sources. If you're not sure what those are, please review the video that's available in the final project instructions. You can link to it there. It's also in that module where the final project information is included. So that's called Final Project and Extra Credit in Brightspace. So look to those for a little help. The kind of shorthand answer for figuring out if something is an academic secondary source for history is that it has been published in an academic journal that is peer-reviewed. So it needs to be peer-reviewed. You can also use books for this. Again, understanding you will not have read the book cover to cover, but instead use the book as kind of a reference. So you'll use a search, you'll use the index to find the information that's relevant for your particular question in that book. Books published by university presses are considered academic secondary sources because they have been peer-reviewed as well. So that's, again, the shorthand for figuring that category out. Otherwise, you need just a couple of additional secondary sources. I have asked you to include a couple social media sources. The idea there is just to see whether or not people are talking about your topic on social media. So that can include Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. It could include some blogging sites depending on how they're set up, things like Reddit, et cetera, et cetera. And again, you're just wanting to see, are people talking about my topic on these platforms? And if so, what are they saying? And are they saying things that are credible, that actually relate to the debates that academics are having about these kinds of topics? Or are they completely different? And what does that say about the way that we understand this particular historical topic? If you find that people aren't really saying anything about your topic on social media, which may be the case, just make note of that on your bibliography. Just say, I couldn't really find any social media sources on this particular topic. And that's totally fine because that may be the case for many of your topics. For the bibliography that's due tomorrow night, you don't need to have any annotations there. The final project itself is an annotated bibliography where you'll use your research question as the common thread throughout the annotations to explain how the sources relate to each other and how they helped you to answer your question. So you won't be writing a full kind of research paper or creating a research project, but instead you'll be doing a digital annotated bibliography for all intents and purposes. So don't worry about including annotations. Again, it just needs to be fully cited entries for each of the sources that you found. If you don't know, if you don't already have experience using a certain citation format, like APA or MLA, it's totally fine. I've given you a link to kind of quick uh, shorthand of how to use Chicago style. Chicago citation style is the one that historians use. Again, I understand that most of us aren't history majors here, so you don't have to learn that one, but I do want you to use one of these citation methods that either you already know or you have some experience with. And if you don't, then use the Chicago style. All right, hopefully that helps a little bit. Please let me know what questions you have, and I look forward to reading your bibliographies and seeing what you have to say about the modernization of New Mexican identities and the final arrival of statehood as we work on Unit 5.